Destination Freedom. Destination Freedom, dramatizations of the great democratic traditions of the Negro people, is brought to you by station WMAQ as a part of the pageant of history and of America's own Destination Freedom. Of all the popular musicians of the past generations, none was so successful in defying convention and traditions as the talented son of a Manhattan minister, the late Thomas Wright Waller, better known to millions as Fats Waller. In a chapter entitled The Shy Boy, Destination Freedom brings you a portrait of the famous Fats.
You could tell it was him by the way he touched the keys. Sometimes quick like a lizard's tongue. Sometimes soft like the first snowflake in the fall. And when he wanted to cut loose, he had 10 sledgehammers he could pull out to make a piano rock like Noah's Ark on a stormy night. I'm the one who put the sledgehammers in his fingers, and some of the quickness, maybe. Oh, but the joy come from I don't know where. All I know is that one evening I was playing piano in the rear of Dirty Pearl's place, when I heard up in the front a voice a little louder than the rest, as though it had been trying to attract attention for a long time.
Say! Is there a Mr. J.P. Morgan in here? Say!
Listen, you! Keep your voice down. I'll have you thrown out of here. You're making too much noise.
Ma'am, you must be mistaken. I'm not making any noise. I just want to see this Mr. J.P.
Waiters! Waiters!
Now, wait a
Over
minute
here and get rid of this
Let go
guy.
of my coat.
I never missed a beat. They pitched him out of Pearl's place like baseballs every evening. There was one thing different about this one. As usual, the bouncers went out with him. But this time, they didn't come back. The customer did.
Hey, no fooling, folks. Is there a Mr. J.P. Morgan in here?
He was this big, shy boy. He bounced the bouncers. Well, naturally, I had to stop to see what prize fighter had accomplished that job.
What'd you do to my waiters? Where are they?
Ma'am, I just left them outside. They didn't understand me when I said turn me loose.
I understood why the waiters had lost the scuffle. He outweighed them by 40 pounds.
All right. I'm a good loser. Have a drink on the house. You're the first one ever bounced my waiters. Pour one, Jojo.
Sure, Pearl.
Ma'am, if you don't mind, I'd rather not.
On the wagon?
No, underage.
What?
Your sign says no drink served to minors. I wouldn't want you to get in trouble with the law.
Oh, no, sir. I mean, kid. Don't get us into any trouble. Hey, what you doing in this place anyway?
Well, my father sent me over to the Lafayette Theater last night.
How nice.
See a piano player running up and down the keyboard. Gee, just running. Ma'am, he could really play.
I'll be sure to go over and hear him sometimes.
They say he plays at Dirty Pearl.
Well, I'm Pearl.
Name's J.P. Morgan, they say. J.P.
You said that before, and there's no Oh, you mean J.P. Johnson, fool.
Oh, that's his name? Say, kids played a joke on me. They told me to come in here and ask for Mr. J.P. Morgan.
After this young mountain and Pearl had stopped laughing, she steered him over to my piano.
J.P., I want you to meet... What'd you say your name was?
Waller. Thomas Wright Waller.
Glad to know you. This kid must have weighed 200 pounds. And when he told me what he wanted...
I'd like to take piano lessons from you.
All my sympathy went out to the piano. Pearl interceded for me.
J.P.'d like to oblige, son, but he doesn't take on
Oh,
beginners.
I know how to play. I just don't know how to play the way he does.
Yeah? How long you been taking lessons?
Since I was 6. Here, I'll play some of my music just to give you an idea.
He squashed down on the stool and was about to beat on the keys, but Pearl saved the piano from the worst pounding of its life.
Young man.
Man,
No man is allowed. That means at the piano, too.
well, gee, how's Mr. Johnson ever going to hear me?
Well, I'm just afraid he might not. Unless you can audition somewhere else. You all settle it, but not on my piano.
Well, I got back down to the blues, hoping the boy'd take the hint and blow. But he hung over my shoulder like a cloud, and I could see the only way to get rid of him was to hear him play.
My dad wants you to hear me, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, where'd I come for this hearing?
A few blocks north of here. I'll be practicing Sunday noon if you can come up at that time. Dad said...
All right, just leave me your address.
Gee, thanks.
Now, I'm not saying I'm gonna teach you. I'm only saying I'll hear you, and that's all. Well, on Sunday, I walked a few blocks north and came to the address the kid had left me.
Come in. If you kindly remove your hat, please.
Say, what is this?
This is the home of Reverend Waller. Did you come to worship?
Not exactly. I'm Johnston, the piano player.
Oh, yes, of course. Come in, won't you? That's my boy playing now. His playing's different from yours, Johnson.
You know about me?
Of course.
I never noticed you in the taverns I play in, Reverend.
Some of my congregation's been telling me about you. Quite a few backsliders in the church, you see.
Oh, yeah, I see. I see you most every night.
And they say that your barroom music, if you don't mind me calling it that.
Oh, go right ahead. It's been called a lot worse.
They say this has an effect much of my church music can't get. Sort of brings out a certain side of people, say their rowdy side.
Well, now, Reverend, I wouldn't exactly put it that way.
Wait until I finish, Mr. Johnson.
Yes, sir.
I'm not condemning your music. In fact, that's why I want my son to study under you for a while.
Huh?
He's the only son I have. And you must have noticed that he's, well, rather shy.
In some ways.
Perhaps because of his unusual size, he's inclined to be a bit self-conscious.
I've noticed.
I believe I've kept him too cloistered. Since he was 6, he's been somewhat of a musical prodigy, composing concerts. He's had the best classical training New York can give him. He writes for the organ and the piano, and has a symphony to his credit. But it's been all work, and I think it's time he found a way to relax. Church music has been Thomas's life. If he can't find some music to relax with, he'll find other ways. Will you take him?
I locked eyes with the Reverend Mr. Waller as his boy rolled off another church hymn. He must have read my mind as I looked down at my lean left-hand fingers that could roll off a boogie beat which I believed could rock the foundation of any church. The Reverend just smiled and shook his head.
Oh, no, Mr. Johnson. You think that once the devil's music, as I must refer to yours, gets into my boy, he won't want to return to composing church hymns.
I've seen that happen.
Well, no matter how boisterous Tom allows himself to become with your music, the ways of the church are in him. There'll always be a voice in his mind telling him to come home and create the kind of music he was trained for. You go on and take him. Teach him to relax. The church isn't worried. Tom will come back.
He turned his future church organist over to me. And in the evenings, he'd squeeze himself in beside me while I'd beat out piano lessons that were never taught in a classroom. And when I thought I'd schooled him enough, I turned the 88s over to him. Okay, let's see what you can do.
Well, I can't play the way you play yet. But here's a song I made up in Sunday school. It goes this way.
His wide fingers could trickle over the keys like a stream of water. He could translate his songs into the styles of Bach, Beethoven, Handel, and Mozart. But there still wasn't enough J.P. Johnson in him. And Pearl was disturbed.
If he keeps playing that stuff in here, he'll drive every customer I've got to drinking rat poison. I don't have enough poison to go around.
And on the streets, the Reverend would tip his hat to me as though I was his best worker.
You're doing a splendid job with my son, Mr. Johnson. Splendid.
I hadn't noticed it.
Everyone in church has. When he leaves your place, he's anxious to compose church music. May the Lord bless you. You're doing a splendid job.
And every Sunday, my pupil, who should have been the best jazz pianist in the city by now, went on pumping out hymns. I seemed to be in a struggle with the Reverend for the musical soul of his son. On Sundays, the Reverend won, hands down. But on Mondays, I'd take his son's hands, show him the ways of the foxtrot and the two-step, the blues. But when those Sundays came around, he was back at his post. All my good training gone to waste. It was working out just the way the Reverend had thought it would. Until she come to town.
I want a man to travel with me. Got to know blues, got to sing, and got to be strong enough to protect me in a fight. Where is he?
Bessie Smith, Queen of the Blues, come into Pearl's one night looking for a piano player.
How about you, J.P.?
Well, I could go.
What are you waiting on?
A better man, Miss Smith.
Yeah? Where is he?
Hey, Thomas! Thomas, come here. This stand. Yeah, just stand where you are. What do you think of him?
He sure could protect a traveling woman all right.
I've been teaching him the blues myself.
Yeah? Let me hear. Sit down, Fat.
Who you call him fat?
You the one who's fat, ain't you? Sit down, Fat.
Bessie, he's big, but he's sensitive,
I
you know.
can't stand no sensitive man. If you want the job, sit down and play, Fat.
Fat glared at the mighty Bessie for a good long while. But he finally sat down at the keys in a way I'd never seen him sit before.
Now, what's your music like?
Well, most of my music's church music.
Go on, honey. I love church music.
You do?
One of these days, I'm going to retire and devote all my life to singing for the church.
That's just what I'm planning to do, compose music for the church.
Then you and I ought to get along fine, Fat. We're on the same train. Now, about those blues.
Well, I haven't quite caught on to those yet.
What do you have?
Oh, some things of my own, some pieces I made up, like this one.
Well, the great Bessie Smith patted one foot while Fats tinkered with the keys. And I could hear some of my style had been stolen.
All right, you pass on the piano side. Now, what about the singing?
Me sing?
I never take a piano man who can't sing.
I guess that leaves me home.
You see, Bessie, the kid's kind of shy about his voice, especially since he ain't got one.
I can't take no piano man who can't sing.
I could see the boy wanted the job, wanted it bad.
Well, I know that new song. I can't give you anything but love, baby.
Oh, that.
Yeah, I can't give you anything but love, baby. That's the only thing that's plenty.
Fats was doing the best he could, but Lord, his best was the worst I'd heard. I could see a laugh rolling up from Bessie's stomach. Some of the customers heard the weird noise and came over to see what in the world was wrong. Then they began to laugh, too.
Hey, you laughing at?
That's you, Fat. Who else?
I don't like for people to laugh at me.
When you sing, they got to.
Well, I guess I don't fit. That's all I know how to do.
Wait a minute. Where you going?
Home.
I haven't given you leave to go home yet. You come here and do that song right.
Well, I'm not going to have everybody laughing at me.
Sit down at the piano again, honey.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm big, too. But they don't laugh when I sing.
But you got a voice.
I know what it can do. I sing blues, hard time blues. Sad songs that come from hard times and lonesome people. And they forget how big I am and think about what I'm singing. You just watch.
I got them St. Louis blues, just as blue as I can be. He's got a heart like a rock cast in the sea.
Bessie's volume-made pearls placed bulge, and the wine glasses tinkled together as though they were nervous and excited. Her voice did for the Reverend son what my piano keys had failed to do. Opened another door in his soul. When the song was done and the wine glasses stood still, the Reverend son said,
You got a voice.
Ain't you?
You still want me to sing?
Sure, just use what you got. Understand the songs you sing. You ain't stacked up to sing about moon and June and dance and romance. You just ain't built that way. You look funny singing it. Besides, the lyrics ain't worth taking serious. Show the folks that you know the lyrics are funny, foolish, and they'll laugh at the song, not at you. You come with me. I'll try it.
The blues queen took the big boy over to the Rialto estate, rehearsed him in some songs, and when opening night come, the big boy was shaken slightly. But when the piano was wheeled around, he took his cue from Bessie.
Come here, let me tell you something. I can't dish out anything but love. Baby, that's the only thing I've got plenty of. Baby, you talk about dreaming a while, scheming a while, you're sure to find happiness. Yeah. All those fine Arabian things your little heart pines for, yeah.
They started chuckling just at the sight of him. And when he was halfway through, the front row patrons were doubled up. When he finished, I knew I'd beaten the Reverend to his musical soul. He'd gotten the feel of what it means to have an audience with you all the way. It's a good feeling. It don't come any place but on the stage.
You know darn well, baby, I ain't dishing out nothing, ain't getting off on nothing but love. How's that, baby? Good diamond.
Yes, he sat down and there was a smirk on his face and a gleam in his eye that never left it. He could invent phrase after phrase, and he went through songs the audience had heard 1,000 times, but he made them sound like they'd been written just for him.
I'm the Sheik of Araby. Your love belongs to me. At night when you're asleep, into your tent I'll creep. Yes, baby, I'm gonna creep. Yeah. The stars that shine above will light our way to love. You rule this land with me, 'cause I'm the shook, the shake, the sheep from Araby. Yeah. Well, Lord, man, look at that. There's one in Georgia already. Look at that. That boy's fine, too. Play it, son. Play it. Yeah.
He went on the road and traveled the circuit with Bessie Smith. He left them laughing in Louisiana, had them howling in Tennessee, made them forget the cotton crops in Georgia. And when he came north again, 6 years later, he was 60 pounds heavier. He stopped in Pearls, where I was, and the Reverend came in.
Can you help me? I'm looking for Thomas Wright Waller, ma'am.
Hey, Fats, someone to see you.
I'm busy.
Tell him it's his father.
It's your father.
Well, hello, Dad. I was on my way home. I just stopped up to see J.P.
I understand, son. Say, you've gained a lot of weight.
Yeah,
You should watch that. Your heart's not in the best condition, you know.
I know.
Thomas, I've got a question I want to ask you.
Yes, Dad?
You really don't care about composing hymns anymore, do you, son?
Not that
Give me a straight answer, Thomas. You like this music better?
No, I don't like it better, but I like it. All the time when I was on the road, when I'd be playing in places where I'd be scared to sleep, I'd be thinking about writing, well, maybe not hymns anymore, but quiet music, soothing, quiet music. The kind of music I've been training myself to write since I was 6. Look.
Yes, looks like a song.
5, 6 of them, none finished. When I get a little time, I'm going to come home and write the kind of music I want to write. Quiet and warm. Something that'll last a long time. Not blow away like a note of a trumpet. Maybe after my next trip, Dad, I want to make one more trip.
Well, the big boy with the loud voice and the quiet heart went out on another trip. And another. Crossed the continent and saw his name blazing across Broadway. Beat on that piano in his own peculiar way. He gave concerts and saw the critics write.
Fats Waller gave a concert last evening at Carnegie Hall, and he played his own compositions for 2 hours. He played jazz in symphonic style, blues style, boogie style, and his own style. He played Bach, Beethoven, and Brahms. He clowned and he cut up. He tickled the keys lightly and then put out more tones than any pianist this reviewer has ever heard. And through it all, one wondered what this rollicking genius could do if he turned to composing serious music.
And when he sang, the hall sang with him.
Johnny's jumping, really jumping. Every Moses on his toes, I mean the Johnny's jumping. No time for talking. This place is walking, yeah. Get the jug and cut the rug. I said the Johnny's jumping. Listen, get your pig, beef, beer, and gin. There's plenty in the kitchen. Who is that just came in? Just look at the way he's switching. All right, man. Don't mind the hour. I'm in power. I got bail if we go to jail. I said the Johnny's jumping. Don't give your right name. No.
He was singing phrases I'd taught him to use when he was a big, shy boy. Talking about places I'd had him playing when he was a beginner. He went to Chicago and Milwaukee, and the rollicking rhythm rolled on. He could make people laugh by just the way he'd repeat a word, a phrase.
All your pedal extremities are colossal. To me, you look just like a fossil. Got me walking, talking, and squawking. 'Cause your feet too big, yeah. Come on and walk that thing.
One evening when his chauffeur drove him over to Pearl's place to see me, I was sorry about the victory I'd won over his father. I spoke to him about writing some serious music now, instead of putting it off.
I'm ahead of you, JP, way ahead. You see this packet here?
Yeah?
There's scores I've been working on for a year.
Huh?
I'm taking to my publisher next week. Yeah.
I was happier than I'd been since the day I stole his musical soul from his father. I guess everybody who really knew him was happy. Until he came back that week.
What happened, son?
Nothing, I just want to rest.
What happened to the song?
Please,
Tell me.
Well, I took them to serious music.
Yes?
They looked at me and laughed. They just laughed. They said nobody could pay any attention to serious music I wrote. They were used to the comedy. So they just laughed.
He never did like for him to laugh at him, only with him. He went back in the clubs and the hotels, and they say he was even funnier.
Oh, and I should fall in love with you. Do you think that you could love me too? You could love me? Well, all right, that's great. Listen, close my eyes should hold you and caress you. Would it impress you? Would it, huh? Or would it distress you? Would it? Well, answer me. Close my eyes should say for you I yearn. I yearn, sure I do, yeah. Would you think I'm speaking out of turn? No, I'm not lying. It's a Cinderella lie, yeah. Supposing I declare, would you take my love and share it? I'm not supposing I'm in love with you. Come on, suppose with me, baby, yeah.
But all the time when he was at home, he kept on working on the serious songs. The symphonies and the concertos, the etudes and the jazz operas. And before one trip to California, the Reverend and I went to the station with him, and he told us...
Now, don't you worry about me clowning. This is my last trip, my last one. You see this packet?
Yeah, what's been wondering about it? What is it?
Well, there's some scores I've been working on in there. After this trip, I'm sitting down and finishing it. I'm not going to let them remember me only for pop tunes. No. I'm just going to make this one last trip, that's all.
Oh, well, so long, fat boy.
Take care of yourself, son.
So long now. He left on that one last trip. And I went back to Pearl's and sat down with an old boogie-woogie that my fingers had forgotten. I played it all week. And on the weekend of December 15th, 1943, the Reverend came into the cafe, walked over to my piano.
Good evening, Johnson.
Evening, Reverend. How's Tom?
He's dead.
Sir?
Telegram from Salt Lake City. Came in yesterday. Tom died suddenly on the train, heart attack. I guess it was that weight he carried.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm sorry. Maybe if we'd let him stick to hymns and being shy, he'd have written that music.
I don't know. I've been thinking about it all day. God works in mysterious ways, his wonders to perform. Maybe it was better that Tom brought laughter and joy than church hymns. I don't know.
Nobody knew. Least of all me. All I knew is that I could tell by his touch that he had something to tell the world, and I steered him towards joy and laughter, and sometimes I wonder what he would have written if he had gone the way of other composers. I wonder.
You have just heard Destination Freedom's dramatization of The Shy Boy, the story of the late composer-pianist Thomas Fats Waller. Destination Freedom is written by Richard Durham and produced by Larry Auerbach. The role of Fats Waller was played by Oscar Brown, Jr. Others in the cast were Fred Pinkard, Janice Kingslow, Wezlynn Tildon, and Bob White. The special music was played by Mary Sinclair and Jose Bethancourt. Our technician was Gary Dublee, sound effects by Dave Squires. This is Charles Chan speaking. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.